All right, I think we're good. What's up, chat? Woo, had a last-minute technical difficulty there, but I think we're good now. Happy New Year to those of you across the pond. What's it like in the future? Tell me about it. But over here in the States still, we are in 2020. I'm really excited to just celebrate the new year with you. And as we all know, 2020 was pretty crazy, but 2021, you know, a lot of us have a lot of hope. A lot of us are hoping for some good things, some good news. And although it's not going to be immediately tomorrow, everything's better, we know we're headed in the right direction. And as long as we can do this together, we're going to make it happen. So thank you, chat. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully the sound is coming through okay. Check, check, mic check. There we go. And yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for being here. Let's start the show. And we're going to keep track of how many questions we answer, just like we did a couple days prior. And man, my office is an absolute mess right now. You do not want to see it. But I've been organizing things, pulling stuff out to reorganize and put back in. And we'll have some fun. So we'll see what happens. But thanks again for being here. Final stream for the year. I didn't even really think about that, Bernard. That's kind of insane. 288 days later, here we are. 12 days from now, we'll hit 300. 65 days after that. So what is that? 87 days from now? 77 days from now? Wow. Incredible. Let's start the show. Thanks for being here.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream. All while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
All right, I'm just getting the space ready so we can have the second camera and we can keep track of how many questions. Sounds a little distant. Let's see, let's just make sure. Okay, we got the Rodecaster Pro going. Audio's good. Thank you. All right, chat. Yo, Happy New Year. I hope you're all enjoying your day. I got my coffee with me. First coffee of the day, in fact. So, you know, a little behind here. Just again, the office is an absolute mess. There's stuff everywhere. I'm pulling things out. I'm reorganizing cords because I want to start fresh, right? That's what we do. In fact, if you want to see it, I might be able to show you here. If I go to this camera angle here and I come over here, I mean, look at this absolute mess. Let's take you around. Printer, like there's a printer right there. There's some gear. This is like a little Edelkrone sort of slider. And it's just, ooh, look at the Pokemon space is clean. I got boxes. I got like, it's just not cool. It's just not cool, guys. But you know what is cool? The fact that you're here today and the fact that we're going to be answering some questions for you. There we go. I always like to show it how it is, right? I always like to show it how it is because this is real life. A lot of times real life can get kind of messy. But when we're in this together, we can make things happen. And yeah, here we go. So we're going to answer some questions. If you have a question, type in the word question in all caps, followed by your question. And I'm going to do my best to answer them as we go. And let's put some music on so that we can have some fun too. So let's go to YouTube. Big shout out and thank you to Harris Heller, who always provides us these royalty-free soundtracks. Harris Heller Stream Beats is what it's called. Harris Heller is a streamer who has these amazing playlists, and we're going to pop this on right now. I got to put it through the Rodecaster Pro, though, so give me a moment. Really just been chilling. Really have just been kind of chilling these days, and typically I'm more organized, but it's all right. It's break. I'm letting loose. I'm not worrying too much about things, and I think that that's how I want to approach 2021. You know, I want to be organized, obviously. I want to plan, but I don't want to worry so much. I've already had so much to worry about this past year. We all have, right? So let's just be grateful for what we do have and the fact that we're together and we're going to have some fun. So, cool. We just got all of our Christmas decorations put away. Yeah, we're about to do that after tomorrow. Over the weekend, we're going to be taking out our stuff. But I think we should be able to pop up the camera. No, not there. We want it here. There we go. So this should give us a good understanding of how many questions we go through. So let's go ahead and make this happen. Casual Nerd Jason, by the way, says, I don't really watch live streams, but wanted to say Happy New Year's to you all. So Happy New Year, Casual Nerd Jason. Appreciate you. High five. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, there were some questions that happened. What happened to the camera in the upper back? My son was using it for gaming earlier, and we have it over here. It's not connected to the same computer. Still not as messy as my space. Thank you. That's a scary environment. I appreciate you guys. Okay, let's answer these questions. We're gonna try to get to, I would say, about 30 here today as we go along. We're gonna go and go rapid fire. So here we go. Question: I'm trying not to allow FOMO, fear of missing out, to get me because I really have no space on my plate. LOL. What do you think about building our brand on TikTok? Another app to learn. It is another app to learn. It is something that does require consistent uploading. That is the one thing. At least once or even twice or 3 times a day, I've seen people succeed on it. People have been growing their audiences there. It is quite a younger crowd, although everybody seems to be on that app right now. And yes, you can target. Yes, you can use it for business. But if there is another thing, Dr. Severin Bryan, that you know that you should be spending time on, don't do TikTok. You can be successful without it. If you are in need of something and you're thinking, okay, I want to commit to this to 3 months to see what happens, but I'm actually going to give myself a chance to make it work, then great. Do it, make it work, crush it. Only allow yourself to learn about TikTok, follow other TikTokers to learn how they do what they do, get out of your comfort zone. I would highly recommend checking out the podcast episode I did with Kenya Kelly, Keenya Kelly. She talks about it, and she's been crushing it, and she's been selling more books and all that kind of stuff for that too. Knicks Fans TV says, let's actually put a number up here. I need to gauge where these numbers are at. Okay, next question from Nick. Knicks Fans TV. He says, are you still using Ecamm for the chat overlays? Yes, exactly, 100%. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just hitting add to broadcast under your question, and that pops it on the screen. It's so easy to use, and it all is integrated into YouTube here, so I don't have to do anything. What's up, Karma? Good to see you here. Thank you, and Happy New Year to you, my friend. Hope Lily's good and your family's good. Question: I'm finishing up my first book, Coming from Your Cave, putting a few finishing touches. How long should I wait before I release an online course? Well, in my opinion, you can potentially release an online course with the book. Not one that's paid, though. One that's more of like a companion course that gives people, for example, this is what I did with my book, Will It Fly? I had the companion course for that book built within, meaning people could go and sign up for that course. It wasn't a course that could live on its own. You kind of needed the book to go along with it, but it was like a read-along, and all the chapters were in there as each of the lessons, and all of the links in the book were in each of those chapters, as well as high-resolution images and all that kind of stuff, and that was really cool. So the recommendation would be to create something light. That would be a nice bonus for your book. So before you finish it, include that in there so that you can get email addresses. That book has converted 52% of readers into email list, into my email list. And then I use that email list to ask them what they might need help with. That then built me my online course. I wouldn't build an online course. I would never build an online course without first having an understanding and even just a few ounces of connections to people in the space that you are trying to help people in. Get to know those people, learn about their pains, problems, needs, desires, wants, and then, and only then, can you understand what you can create an online course about, right? There you go. Great question. Thank you. Hey, there we go. All right, so question number 4, that it was. Pat Flynn, I'm live at the same time as PokeRev. What am I supposed to do? Says Awesome Cameras. Go watch PokeRev. This is always here for a replay. PokeRev is great too. Anyway, that's the beauty of what he and I do. We keep these live streams up here so you can watch them later. The interesting thing is in PokeRev's stream right now, I did purchase some packs that he's opening, and he will be opening them during this stream. But you know what? I can always go back. He and I are friends. It's all good. And I'm really excited because I get to see what I open up. But I'm not opening up. He's opening up. He's making a great business out of selling packs that people can't get access to and opening them live and then sending them over. And he sends them in like a day or two, which is pretty cool. Happy New Year, everybody. Yay. Just amazing that you're all here. Daryl, Sandy, Martin, Ryan, Peasant Uprising. Thank you so much. Big shout out to all the moderators here as well who help keep it clean and happy in the Pat Cave. I don't know if I want to use Pat Cave because there's the Pokey Cave, which is Rev stuff. But anyway, thank you so much for that question. Let's keep going here. Question: what do you think about recording Clubhouse conversations where you're the leader in the room and uploading them to your podcast? Is there a recording function within there? I think that if you could do that, that would be great. I don't know what the terms of service are, if that's even allowed or possible, but I would imagine it could be. That being said, it is on the Clubhouse app, so I don't know if that's possible. I do see a few other comments here about Clubhouse. Clubhouse, if you don't know, is another social media app, and you got to be worried about these kinds of things sometimes because we don't want to just have bright light syndrome and go to the next big thing. but this one is pretty awesome. It's very unique, very different. You can sign up, you can get your username, and when you get in there, you can essentially join rooms and just listen in. Imagine you're at a conference and you just see a presentation going on, and you look in the door and you're like, okay, I guess I'll go in there and sit down for a while, and then you're in the audience. You can't talk, you're just listening as the audience, but you can get invited onto the stage, or you can create your own room that you can invite people to, which is pretty cool. So as far as recording, I can definitely see repurposing in that way, and that would be really, really cool, but I don't know if that's allowed. You'd have to check for sure. All right, I'll remember to cap this because I can't have it dry out on me like last time. There we go. 6 questions in. Let's keep the party going. Very grateful for you today, by the way. Thank you for being here. Bill, question for Pat Flynn. What is your special dance for TikTok? My special dance for TikTok, I can do a moonwalk, or I can do the robot really well and some like pop and lock kind of stuff. What's my other thing? Oh, I can do a shuffle, right? Like LMFAO type shuffling, but I don't have any room to do it here. So we'll have to save that for TikTok. So anyway, maybe we'll get through more than 30 questions because a lot of these questions are sort of like quick and personal, which I totally love too. I love sort of just jamming with you guys on whatever. Carlos, what's up? What 2 platforms would you focus on if you were starting your business from scratch right now? If by platforms you mean social media platforms, that's one thing. If by content platforms, that's another. So let's talk about both really quick. In terms of content platforms, I would literally only pick one content platform. Trying to do both YouTube and a podcast, or a blog and a podcast, or a blog and a YouTube channel can be very difficult. And you're not going to give each of them or any of them a chance to go to full sort of capacity and full attention, and you're not giving yourself the best chance to succeed. So I would just pick one to start out with, master those systems, get efficient with it, thus then opening up your time for the possibility of repurposing or trying another channel or what have you. Yes, people see me and they're like, wow, you have a blog, you have a podcast, you have books, you have a YouTube channel, multiple YouTube channels, multiple podcasts. How do you do this? Well, number one, I've become efficient with these things, and the second time around, it's always faster and better. Secondly, I have a team helping me with a lot of that stuff. Thirdly, it wasn't all done at the same time. And that's the big thing. It wasn't all done at the same time. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Anyone have a link to the shirt? Yes, today is the last day you can get the Team Flynn merch, which I would have worn, but it smells like armpit, and I'm not gonna wear that a second day in a row because it's my family. I love my family. Anyway, you can see the merch at patflynn.com/merch. Actually, it will be extended through tomorrow. So through New Year's, I'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific, and it'll be available until midnight tomorrow night. So there's 36 hours left still. Yum, 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 yum. Dude, this coffee is so good. It's called a Kingslayer, and it has some notes of cinnamon, some, what else is in there? It's like a latte, cinnamon kind of latte. It's good. It's yummy stuff. All right, Angelina. Was that another question I answered? I think it was. Bam. Angelina's question: What would be the most important? What would be the most important for you this year? Is it a project activity, or what would it be? For me, it is important to remain. Let's see. There's a few things that are focusing on for next year, and it's in 2 regards. Number 1, business. Number 2, family, and it's the opposite order. So number 1, let's first talk about family. The most important thing, in regard to the family, it's just keeping everybody safe at home. It's keeping everybody joyful and grateful for what we do have, especially the kids, and they see a lot of their friends maybe doing things they probably shouldn't be doing, but they want to go out there and it might not be safe. And there's obviously, we don't want to get into arguments about that with other families or anything. And we're just playing it safe again, but we're doing whatever we can at home to keep the kids safe, to keep them entertained, to keep them excited about all the things that we can do together. And it's been really nice. It's been, great to raise a new puppy and experience that together. It's been great to garden together. Like all these little projects that have come about, I know there's going to be more. And the cool thing about the garden is it's always sort of rotating, right? It's always rotating, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited for the possibilities for next year with the family. And I'm definitely excited for when we can go travel again. We might even take an RV trip, which I've never done before, but we will see what happens. We will see what happens with that. In terms of business, a few goals. Number 1, we have some big projects that are coming out that we haven't announced publicly yet, but they have to do with podcasting. I'm excited to share a lot more of that with you. The team and I, we've already been in development of something for the last 3 months, and it's something that does not exist yet, and it's something that I think is going to be really exciting and has huge possibilities to help a lot more people. It is not a software, by the way, in case you were thinking that. What's up, Lex? Good to see you here. Happy New Year to you. Grandma Goody, Shonda, teachers making the basics fun, Stephanie, Wendy. Appreciate you all being here. Oh man, it just feels like family in the house. I love it every single day. It just blows me away. So other projects that I have going on are obviously the Pokemon channel that I'm starting and getting ahead on that and kind of turning that into a content machine so that I can just focus on collecting and turning the camera on and just kind of pumping out that content to see what happens. That's a fun experimental ground that I can then use this channel to talk about what's working, what's not, so that we can understand what is working these days here on YouTube. And then an online course is the big project next year. A course about online courses. It's a little meta. There's people who have created those things already, but I've had a lot of people ask me specifically because we now have 7 online courses. We just passed $4 million in total revenue from online courses, and we do have a lot to say, and we have a lot of experience that can be passed on to any of you who might want to create a course. By the way, Carlos, thank you for becoming a new member. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Great question. Joe here says, this is for Joe's question. Joe, is the beard going to make it into a new headshot? I literally talked about that with somebody yesterday because a student of mine, she's planning in March to do a professional photo shoot for her because it's been a while. And she was like, you need to do it. And I was like, because of the beard? And she's like, because of the beard. It doesn't seem like this is going to go away anytime soon. I like it. I like it. And I definitely need new headshots. Like even my avatar here on YouTube, it's like totally different. I look like I'm 12 and now I'm like, at least 16 now. So, all right. Sorry, trash, a lot of trash in the way. All right, there we go. 10 questions in, let's go. What camera are you using right now and what type of lighting? So if you want to see the entire setup, you can go to patflynn.com/live setup. I have all the things there, like literally all the things, as well as budget-friendly options. Right now, as far as a camera, I'm using a Canon EOS R mirrorless camera with an actual Sigma lens, a 1.4 f lens. This is different than what I used before, actually. I used to use a 2.8 aperture Canon lens, and I got a different one because I have a different setup at my Pokemon area. But what's crazy about this one is I can go even blurrier in the background. I mean, look at that. It almost looks like the portrait mode on iPhones, right? And it's a little too blurry, I think, for me in this regard, because I want people to kind of make out a little bit about what's behind me. But that's pretty insane and super fun. As far as lighting, I have a couple spotlights. As you can see, I have a purple light that's kind of back there on the side and a blue light behind me just to add a little bit of color and flavor to the scene. And then I have my big light, my Aperture 120D, which is a huge light that allows me to sort of like put a nice little wash on the room. I used to have it point directly at me from a 45-degree angle, but it gave me a really cinematic sort of like movie look, and I don't want that in a stream. I want it to be a little bit more blended and friendly, and so I actually have it pointing the opposite direction and at 100%. So it's actually spraying the other side of the room, and then it's bouncing off and coming back to me. Cool. Good question, by the way. Bam. Bam. All right. Let's see. Peasant Uprising. How do you schedule and work on planning with your wife and family? I listen to SPI Podcast 419, and all the people talk about planning. That's also my biggest hurdle, right? I think, again, this question that always comes up when things are hard. If this were easy, what would it look like? Let's start there. If planning were easy, what would it look like? We don't have to plan every single minute of every single hour of every single day. Let's plan in a little bit larger chunks. So typically planning for me, both in business and in family, is having specific things that we're working toward or working on and chunking out those times to do those things, right? And I think it does take some purposeful planning moments where you and your wife or your family or anybody around you who may be considered for these schedules, you sit down and you go, okay, what's coming up? What do we need to plan for? And how do we make sure we get this done, or we do this, or we focus on it, right? And so that's kind of the approach that I like to take. When it comes to planning, you have to almost plan to plan, right? If that makes sense. So creating moments, my team and I do this too, where once a quarter we'll sit down for 4 hours and go, okay, 2 quarters from now, what's happening? What's launching? What do we need to create content about? What guests do we want on the show? And all that kind of stuff. Same thing with family. Hey, April, what are we doing in the second quarter of this year? Are we going to go on any trips, or what are some fun projects we can work on, or what are some big goals that we can have together as a family? And again, just trying to keep it easy as much as possible. Oh, mark the question. Got to mark the questions. I like this. I think it was Kathy who gave me the idea to put the little screen up here, which was pretty cool. So super stoked for that. All right. Kathy, I volunteered and made vid bumpers for friends. Now I'm getting asked to teach folks how I did it. Is this a teachable moment that I should build on? It is definitely. It is definitely something that you could build on. I would number one, experiment to see if you could maybe get people together in a webinar to show people how to do it all at once, and then see from there if it is something that you might be interested in to consider doing it further, maybe even charging for it at some point. And if this is exactly how Brian Harris started. He did a lot of these sort of business type videos for other businesses and showed people how to do it for free. And then people started to flock toward Brian from Video Fruit to make them for him and pay him for that. So that could definitely be a moment like that for you, Kathy, and congratulations on just putting yourself out there and trying to make something happen and learning about this superpower. And the cool thing about this is you can try it for a little bit of time and just, you might go, you know what, that was fun, but it's not really what I want to do forever. Or you might go, wow, this is epic. Let's push a little bit forward into this. And that's how you can make it happen. It's the teacher in me, right? What I would say is that although there is an opportunity there, let's think fast forward into the future a little bit. Let's take the DeLorean and go a year from now. Do you still want to be doing this? How many? What would happen to your other job? If you like, what are your goals? Does this excite you? Does it not excite you? Maybe it's just some side gig. It's up to you, but you need to plan ahead versus just jumping all in without considering where you want to go with it, if that makes sense. Wow, it really doesn't like the other side of this. This marker. All right, Happy New Year, everybody. Appreciate you. While we're here, let me know in the chat, what are you doing tonight? Anything to celebrate? Are you cooking anything special? Are you doing anything as a family to bring in the new year and set yourself up for success? Let me know. All right, Adam says, what is the best strategy for getting advertisers on my podcast? So number one, if you have some large download numbers, that's always going to be easy because then that's what advertisers want. They want traffic, they want numbers, they want eyeballs, or in this case, earballs, in order to go to their brands, right? And so if you have some good numbers, that's great. Now, if you, either way, whether you have good numbers or not, you can reach out to companies that you've already experienced, or of course, if you already have a relationship with them, then you can reach out to them and see if you might be able to work out a deal. There are middlemen and women who will help you sell some of your spots, but typically you might need anywhere between 15 to 20,000 downloads a month to even engage in a conversation. I use a company called True Native Media in order to help us handle the distribution of our ad spots and make those connections. And of course, that does come with a cost, but it does save us a lot of time and headache in terms of finding those kinds of companies. But I definitely think that getting a middleman can be useful, but I would just start out small. And again, if you can't find advertisers, you might consider affiliate marketing to a point where you can just recommend products that you already use and share maybe even in full episodes how that product has helped you or what you are doing that product is involved with that can get people excited and want to go through that link and pay you back for that, right? The mod is full. Behaving on income stream. Nice. Samson in the house. What's up, Samson? It's so good to see you here. I hope you are well. Wendy, Martin, Gail, Bill, the family. Journey with Leong, thank you. Cool. All right. You are not supposed to record and share recorded content on Clubhouse, says Nashi. So thank you for telling me that. Again, I don't know the rules. I would definitely recommend checking that out. That's not a question, but that mark is for the previous question. Martin says, early bed for me, gym, 7 a.m. tomorrow for rehab, work, and at 10 a.m. Martin, Happy New Year. Congratulations on all of your podcast success this year. I mean, what is it now? Like almost 750,000 downloads by now. You are incredible, my friend. Keep doing what you're doing. All right, let's keep scrolling down. I'm just going to scroll closer to the bottom so we can get some more questions that are more recent. So if I happen to skip your question, you can re-ask the question. Just don't spam. The moderators don't need that. Let's see. Kids are going to do a torch run skiing thing. In fact, I have to go find some glow sticks in the Halloween box right now. BRB. Wow, that sounds really cool. I don't know what that means, but I want to do it. Our boys are having friends over to play board games, cooking barbecued pulled pork. Turkey queso and salsa. What time can I come over, Ryan? Seriously. All right. Here we go. Paralysis. Best alternatives to Facebook ads. I run a small design agency specializing in branding, etc. So I would consider, number one, Instagram ads. That obviously ties very well into Facebook, but can get you a new audience, especially one that is very visual or loves visual things or responds well to visual items. Number two, definitely explore YouTube. YouTube, I think, is a complete goldmine when it comes to potential advertising possibilities. This does take a little bit more friction. It's not like signing up and do it. Like, you have to obviously create a video and make it compelling and drive people somewhere and keep people's attention when they weren't wanting to watch you in the first place. It works though. I have seen time and time again, many of my friends using YouTube very successfully and getting leads for a very, very, very cheap price. So I would look at YouTube potentially. Come on, there we go. Awesome. We pound on pots and pans with metal spoons. Happy New Year. Same one I used for Zoom and pan. Nice. That's cool. Carlos says, I just finished listening to I just listened to the last year of my podcast, first full year, and I'm not in love with my interviewing skills. What do you recommend to improve in this area? This is a fantastic question, Carlos. You're doing the first thing right, which is considering how you can get better. That's going to be number one. But let me give you some tips, high level, really quick. Number one, the best thing to do, the best approach, if it were simple, is this. Just be genuinely curious. The more genuinely curious you can be about the conversation and what might happen next and all that kind of stuff, it goes a very, very long way, right? So that would be number one, Carlos. Again, this is the question that we're answering right now. Be genuinely curious. Number two, kind of know where you want the conversation to go, right? When you have a person on your show, it's not, you don't ever know exactly what you're going to talk about, but you have a goal and you should hopefully have some sort of transformation or lessons or something that you want to take away with as a listener, and you want to think about the listener and sort of have a roadmap toward there. I actually don't like listing questions out, but perhaps writing down a few bullet points of topics that you want to make sure, because you know this person has experienced those things or has knowledge about those things, that can help a person go from where they're at now to where eventually you want them to end up after the episode is over. So that can be really key. And then number three, here's the best thing that's helped me too, listening to other podcasters and considering their questions. So I find that people like Sean Stevenson, although it's a health and fitness podcast, whenever he has a guest on, he asks amazing questions. Lewis House, another great interviewer. Andrew Warner from Mixergy, oh my gosh. A little bit uncomfortable sometimes, but he's such a great interviewer because he's not afraid to ask those questions and dig deep. You got to remember that digging deeper, that's where the gold lies. Final tip for you for interviewing. Whenever you get an answer, that's a surface level answer. See how you might be able to go deeper. Ask questions like why, or what did you feel in that case, or keep going. I want to know more. Those kinds of things will work. Thank you for that question, Carlos. Question here from Sandy. I saw her ask it a couple times, so I apologize I wasn't able to get to it earlier. Will your Sigma 1.4 work on my EOS 7D? I don't want to order the wrong one, but I need it. It will if you have the adapter. You need I don't know the name of the adapter, and there's a couple, so I apologize. But Sandy, there may be some YouTube videos that might be able to help show you. But there is a EOS sort of lens adapter that will adapt to the Sigma to the EOS that you have. And that's what allows it to work. I'm not as knowledgeable, but if you wanted to, it would work with the adapter for sure. But if you wanted to know for sure, I think my buddy Caleb, let me put him in the chat. You can, there he is. You can tag him on Twitter and ask the same question, and you should be able to get an answer. He's pretty good with responding. Randy says, ask open-ended questions for sure. For sure. All right. Open-ended questions will always help you get the right answer. And go try to get the story, right? A great tip for interviewing. Sorry, I'm so passionate about this. Obviously, I'm a podcaster, so that's kind of what I know most. If you want to get a story out of somebody, just say this. Tell me about a time when... And then you want to finish the sentence, but whatever it is that you want to finish the sentence with, do it, right? Tell me about a time when you were doing a live stream and things didn't go according to plan. That's essentially you telling the person who's in the interview chair permission to just go. Just tell the story. Like, don't worry about it, right? So that's what I'd recommend. All right. Scrap Happy. Have you ever had a podcast interview that steamrolled over you and didn't let you get a word in? An interviewee. I've never had one that steamrolled, although this reminds me of an interview with Joe Rogan and Neil deGrasse Tyson, who Joe was just not happy with how much Neil sort of steamrolled over Joe and wouldn't let him get a word in. That could happen. In any case, I think there's always ways to navigate those kinds of situations. If a person was just talking a lot and wasn't able to let me get a word in, you know, I think if they're talking about things that are relevant, actually that's the best case scenario. If they're just going and they're telling a story and they're going exactly where you want them to go, then let them, right? That's number one. But number two, if you happen to know that it's kind of not going the direction you want it to go, I might say, hey, wait, really quick. I love this. I think that we should do another episode or something later to unpack that, but I really want to make sure that we get back to blank, because that's where the audience wants to go. And I always say that, right? That's how I get it off of me. I go, well, the audience wants to know this, right? And I sort of use you guys to help guide because I want to give you what's best. But the interviewee can't go like, no, I don't like the way you did that. It was, well, it's not for me, it's the audience, right? So it kind of like deflates that situation a little bit, right? Ryan says, that's two big egos on one interview, right? Answer for live stream is every time ROFL. Cool. Thank you for that question, by the way. All right, the Joe Mobley Show. My show aims to give people the confidence they need to face the day, especially and specifically with political ideological beliefs. I don't have any course ideas. What else can I offer for free? I would ask people what they might need help with, what they might, what might be they looking for. One of my favorite questions is, hey listeners, if you had a magic wand and there was something that I could offer you that I don't yet or don't have for you yet, what would that be? Name anything, right? And then you're just going to start to get answers. It comes with communication. My favorite thing to do is not guess. I hate guessing. I want at least some sort of calculated sort of educational guess, not just a shot in the dark, right? So the best way to go about it when it comes to business or content is just find out what people are asking about. And if you can go directly to your listeners or directly to your email subscribers, that's the best case scenario. Second best case scenario would be to go to a search engine or something like answerthepublic.com to find out what questions people are typing in about what it is that you're sharing. The other thing to do would be to potentially go to other brands and potentially competitors or even partners just to potentially see what else they're doing and not take, not steal, not plagiarize, but get inspired and motivated to create something of your own based on what you see other people are doing. This is very similar to the strategy that I recommend if you're struggling for content. Hey, Key Lloyd, thank you. You are a key member of the Team Flynn tribe now. Thank you so much for being here. You're amazing. So, sorry, I'm just looking at something. So let's see here. I would go, so this is very similar to a strategy that I recommend often when it comes to creating content. If you don't know what to create, go find books about that topic. Those people have done the research. They know exactly the kinds of things that are the topics that people who are interested in that topic want to know about. But you go into Amazon, you look inside the cover, and then you see the chapter names. You don't take the chapter names. You just go, oh, okay, well, that's an idea. Or, oh, wow, I didn't even consider that. Let me see how I can create a top 5 blog post tips about this. Or let me find an interview that speaks to that topic that I didn't know I needed to say. And you're getting inspiration from others who have paved the way already, right? Seriously, the kids' laugh is too loud? Was that with the... Sorry, was that when Key came in? Sorry, I might have that sound effect a little too loud there. Pattern interrupt, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, that was a good question, thank you. We are currently at 20 questions, y'all, and we are doing great. We have 24 minutes left in the stream, 23. We're trying to get to 30 questions. We're only 10 away, and we're probably going to go over. We'll see. Question from Journey with a Young. After 287 live streams, what are the top 2 things that you wished would have happened and top 2 best things that have happened. Wow. Fantastic question. Thank you. So 2 things I wish I would have done. Number 1, I wish I would have had done more interviews because, man, after Sean's interview here yesterday, we were helping him promote his new book and also talk about our own health and the things we put in our body to make us the most productive, happiest, least stressed people we can be in 2021, going into science, but making it easy to understand. Anybody here yesterday and enjoy that conversation with Sean? I absolutely loved it. I love him to death. He's so amazing. He's helped me out so much. And it was really gracious of him to spend time with us because he's literally on a media tour right now promoting his new book, which, by the way, #1 new release in all of Amazon. Thank you for helping him get there. Number 17, all books in Amazon, which is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. So I'm super proud of him and really stoked about that. Let's see. So that's number 1, more interviews. Number 2, I wish that I did a lot more of those videos where I filmed, because there were a few videos where I was like, okay guys, today I'm going to take you behind the scenes. I'm going to talk about this topic, but I'm actually going to film it as if I'm creating a YouTube video. And then I'd take that middle chunk and then I'd put it into a YouTube video and then it would kind of sit on its own. Every time I've done that, it has exploded. The first video we did, which was 15 business ideas that didn't exist until the pandemic or something, had over 500,000 views. The one that we did more recently, just about a month ago, is already at 50,000 views, and the goal was to get to 100,000. It takes a little bit more time and effort to prepare something like that because there's a lot of research involved, and I think maybe I just got into that mode of, well, I'm just going to wake up and do the stream, which has been great. It's very natural, and I think mixing it up a bit is good. If I did all of those, every time it would get a little dry, and I wouldn't have a lot of communication and engagement, but those videos did very well, and I think most of all, it showed a lot of you how not perfect the process is, but how with editing and with, the recording tips and tricks and such, you can get a good video out there and make it work. 2 things that I am so thankful for are you. Number 1, for sure. I mean, I wouldn't keep going unless it was for you, and I'm very grateful for those, especially those who came in on the first week back in March 2020, where, or March this year still, we're still in 2020, but who came in and supported me and showed up the next day. And I was like, wow, this is a thing. Just Samson and a few others were really cool. It was really motivational, and that's what kept me going all this time. And then I think my most favorite moment was in episode 200, where we invited one of our own, Grandma Goody, on the show. And she gave us a nice little play for us using felt characters, one of them being me holding a machete and a beard that then inserted itself on me in felt form. And I was crying from laughter and joy, and I think everybody else in the room, that's just an unforgettable moment, right? So let me know if you were there on episode 200, but it cracked me up, and Grandma Goody, I'm just so thankful for that memory. All right. That's a great question, by the way. Key, have you ever done a how-to on speaking tempo and matching it to content topics and music beds? My wife gives pretty harsh feedback that I don't know what I'm doing when I record. Well, number 1, we can thank her for her honesty, right? Because I think that's important to have. And when we hear feedback from others, it allows us to improve. And hopefully you're using that as motivation to get better versus just, I'm trying, I swear. Although I know you are. As far as matching tempos with songs, typically what I do is the songs come later, right? What I do is I record what I'm recording, and I think about the mood that I want to present. I think about who the listener is and kind of where they're at right now. In some cases, I start very excited because I want people to get excited about the content that I'm sharing. Other times, I start more storytelling-like, and it's a little bit more slow, and I might go a little bit more into the detail of what I'm sharing. I might express some feelings and emotion during that time, and it slows down a little bit. Because tempo and dynamics are so important. It's not just the words you say, it's how you say it, right? But the music can add another level of flavor to that. It's almost like the chocolate syrup on that ice cream sundae. It just changes everything. It's not required, but it does feel like it is once it's there. And the cool thing about, chocolate syrup, the cool thing about music is there's all different kinds of music that can then best represent the thing. So I use a tool called artlist.io. This is a service that I subscribe to annually where I get unlimited downloads of music. And the cool thing about artlist.io, there's other resources too that are likely much cheaper, for example, audiojungle.net, but I like artlist.io because I can go in there and I can literally pick the mood. So the mood might be happy and carefree. Okay, if I'm in a part in a video where I want to be happy and carefree and have people feel the same thing, I'm going to pick a song selection of that type. I can also select based on instrument, based on genre, based on video type, time lapse, vlog, all these kinds of things. So that is going to be something that's going to happen, that's something that I think may help, is starting with the words and determining the mood, and then using the music to flavor that even more. All right. Thank you, Pat. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Elena. Thank you for being here. All right. By the way, if you have a chance, it doesn't take very long, hit that thumbs up button for us. And if you're here for the first time, thank you. Let me know that you're new, #new in the chat, and hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of these. And tomorrow we're streaming at the exact same time just to wish in the new year. It may be a little bit shorter of a stream because I know we all have other things to do, but I do want to check in, say hello, say thank you, and again, I appreciate you. We have, wow, some incredibly generous people in the house right now. We have Elena with a super chat for $4.99. Thank you for that. That goes a very, very long way. I appreciate you for supporting the channel, and we're still in December, which means we're still supporting teachers. We have a pool of about $2,500. Most of it's already gone, but I spent that money buying other teachers' wish lists. I've been doing it more privately, sometimes more publicly on Twitter, but you know, the thing with these donations, I don't want them, they're not about me, right? And so I don't talk about them that much. I mean, I do donate. We've built schools in Africa as a family and as a community before, but I think that there's a fine line between donating and then donating to look good in front of others. But I just want to thank you for the support. I appreciate you. It is going to help others, and that means a lot. Angelina with the mood sticker. Hey, high five. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. You are amazing. And hey, Archer. Yo, thank you. Happy New Year's. #Team Flynn 2021 is going to be legend. Wait for it. Dairy. Thanks for the win. It's going to be legend. What comes out of a cow? Dairy. #Team Flynn for the win. Was that Barney Stinson? That's a Barney Stinson thing, right? Spanish and Go, welcome in. Thank you. Paul Turner in the house. Thank you. There is a question from Paul here that I want to answer. I'm going to skip ahead. And again, you're welcome to re-ask your questions. I'm going to get to as many as I can here until the hour. Paul, what is your experience with IG Reels and its ability to convert? I did a 35-day Reel experiment where every day, this was, I think, back in the summer or even fall of this year, where I did a Reel every day. And I tried to make them different. I tried to make them entertaining, and they were really fun, actually, to do. They scratched that creative itch for a while, and I created these videos that told some stories, some videos that were something that we could then... sorry, I'm just reading the comments here. What are we talking about again? Oh, sorry. Reels. Something different, something entertaining, and I was considering how much it could help convert things, but it wasn't the primary goal. They started to build a lot of momentum. I started to get, it went from, a few thousand viewers to then tens of thousands of viewers, and I have a couple of videos that have gone over 100,000. One of them nearly 1 million views on Instagram Reels. I think it's a very powerful platform. It's great for building trust. It's great for sort of getting people to know you a little bit more, but it didn't do much for quote unquote conversion. That being said, I didn't take it from a conversion perspective. I wanted to see how it would even convert to new users and to new followers, which it did, but it's more of a long-term play. And I think it's one sort of like tertiary strategy that could be involved in your brand and business to help you sort of round out things, but it's not, in my opinion, like the platform that takes like, I would much rather podcast over Reels, or would much rather do YouTube over Reels or things like that. But I think that if you have the ability and the time and the creativity, doing Reels to support those things that you already have can work out very well. Spanish and Go, your advice helped us train our assistant to handle our email. I feel so incredibly liberated. Thanks a million to you and Jess. Yo, congrats to you. You guys are amazing. Way to take it up to the next level. That's a huge thing. Who next year is going to be hiring an assistant or hiring people? That's a big deal. That's a huge step forward in terms of efficiency, and it's definitely something that oftentimes feels like a risk, sort of paying money for things that you could do yourself. But guess what you're actually paying for? You're paying for time, and time is valuable. You can always make more money later, but you can't get time back, right? And that's what helped me take that leap to then hire people to work for me. And now I'm on like this hiring binge. We just brought in Jay from Unrealized. He's on our team now, which is really cool. And he's our sort of community experience director, which is amazing. And then we have a community manager that we brought in for SPI Pro, and we're looking to hire next year as well. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm so stoked. All right, let's see. First time making the live stream. Yo, Zebulon, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you. Hashtag Team Replay. By the way, if you are watching the replay, hashtag Team Replay. Even if you're talking topics outside of my interest, you're just easy to listen to. Wow. Thank you so much. You have no idea how grateful I am for that comment. Especially when I consider back in 2008, I bought podcast equipment and waited about a year and a half before I started because I was too scared. To consider that I definitely had trouble communicating in the beginning, that I didn't want to put my voice out there. I'd much rather be behind a keyboard and type things out than say it. To hear you say that, especially on a live stream, is very, 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 very awesome. So thank you so much. Thank you for that. Oh, that wasn't a question. Oh, I think there was a question, though. So I'll pop that in there. Johannes, I launched a website design agency recently. Should I run a PPC campaign to target foreign countries, US, UK? How do I execute it? I'm in Pakistan, by the way. It depends on who it is you're targeting, right? Because there are likely local businesses that you might be able to help. But I think when you do reach out for you internationally to US and UK, you have to realize that those are different cultures. They might they might have different needs. And if you understand those things and you know that what people are looking for, I mean, there's obviously a lot of overlap, but it's definitely going to be more expensive for sure going US and UK. But that being said, you might land some bigger clients. And if you speak to them in a way that they respond, if you showcase a lot of things that are relevant to what it is that they're doing, if you show proof that your stuff works for people like them, then yeah, it could absolutely work. And running some PPC ads could be an interesting experiment. You know, controlling that budget, maybe spending $100 in 1 week across 7 days to see what happens and see if you land any at least leads. At least the most important thing is you have to understand, okay, from the ad, where are they going? They're not going to hire you from the ad. They're going to want to see something else or get involved in something to learn and trust you a little bit more before they move on to then committing, right? You want to go on a couple dates first before you marry, or you want to hang out with each other first before you go on a date, right? All right, 10 minutes left. It looks like we're definitely going to get to 30 questions and perhaps even more. Journey with Leong, this is a great question. You ask really good questions, by the way. When you first started podcasting in YouTube, did you feel any discouragement coming from people you know? There was a few people who were like, what are you doing? This is out of your element. And of course it was out of my element. I've never done this before. There were some friends, some ex-coworkers who were going back into the architecture job that I had lost. And I was like, you know, I can't go back because I've done everything I was supposed to, and yet I still got let go. I have to do this. I have to go down this new path. I've already let go of that corporate ladder, and I'm moving up this entrepreneurial ladder over here now. So I did get some discouragement. Thankfully, none of it came from anybody really close who would have likely had an effect on my vulnerable brain at the time when I was in sort of like limbo for a while, not really sure what I was doing or where I was going. But there was one person who gave me the worst case of, you can't do this. This will never happen. You're not good enough. There are other people who are better than you. You've never done this before. You didn't even go to school for this. Those were the kinds of things this person was saying to me. Can you guess who this was? It was me. I was saying those things to myself. We are, in fact, our own worst enemy. Every single time. Every single time. Even when other people are mean, it is us who let it affect ourselves. It is how we react to external factors that can determine the positive or negative path that we're about to take. And again, it should be pretty cool to know that no matter what happens out there, it's always going to be up to you what ultimately happens to you. But I think that if we don't understand that, and we don't understand that we can in fact control the story of our future, then we kind of just let things happen. We get in our own way. The voices in our head start talking negatively. We start to have confirmation bias where we find other things almost purposefully in our life that reflect how we're thinking, thus proving that even more true to us, even though it might not be. And then we kind of spiral down, right? Versus going, no, that's not going to affect what I'm about to do here, and going that way. So I want us to be positive in 2021. Let's stay positive, right? And I think we've done a good job. Maybe I'm preaching to the choir because you're all here and you're all positive and you're all with some amazing people here. But yeah. Anyway, going deep, going deep, going deep. Hey, Pat. Your how-to videos on YouTube have really helped me so far. Starting a new podcast for fantasy football. Yo, awesome. In 2021, I'm looking for tips on how to get started. Yeah, well, the YouTube videos here will definitely help you get started. I also have some free information over at smartpassiveincome.com. And I also have a course if you want to go check that out, poweruppodcasting.com. But I would recommend checking out some of the free stuff first. You can look up podcasting tips on smartpassiveincome.com. I just give you all that kind of stuff for free so that you can understand maybe of all the things that might be available to you, which ones are going to give you the best chance, which ones or what mistakes you can look out for, all that kind of stuff, right? Hey, Poke Kanono, thank you so much for the super chat. Happy New Year. May you get the growth you deserve. Can't wait to see what 2021 has in store for you. Thank you so much. Kanono and I have become friends since I've joined the Pokemon community on my other channel, Deep Pocket Monster, which by the way, my new video is edited, it's uploaded, and it's just waiting for me to hit go. And I'm waiting for Rev's stream later to end before I go live with that, because I don't want to take people away from Rev, because much of his audience is subscribed to me now. But that's coming out later today. And Kinono, I just got to say, you are one of many people in the Pokemon space who've been so welcoming, so grateful for you. And I wish you and your family a happy new year as well. And thank you for that donation, which will be going to teachers since we are still here in December for just a few more hours here. But thank you. Question from Scrap Happy. Have you ever lost your mojo? That reminds me of, was it Powerpuff Girls? Mojo Jojo? Mojo Jojo. I have a lot of exciting things on the go right now, but I feel like I'm stuck in tar trying to get myself to take action. Trust me, this is a monthly thing. All right, it's like, oh no, there I go again. I'm stuck. I'm slow. I'm having a hard time moving, and I have so much I want to do, but so little time, so little energy to be spread across all these things. But what I often do is go, okay, Pat, let me get out of my own head. What's the one thing I can do right now that'll help make me feel great about making progress on something, right? If you want to go big, start by going small. If you want to change your life, start by changing your day first. If you have all these projects you want to work on, what's the one that you want to focus on, and what's the next task within that project? You're making progress. It might be slow at first, and obviously physics is at play here. An object at rest tends to stay at rest, but of course, what's the opposite of that? An object in motion tends to stay in motion. So let's start off, and once that big guy pulls that truck in the strongest man competition, he's got that rope and he's literally pulling an 18-wheeler. It's hard to start, but what happens? Once he goes, it's rolling. And so you can go from there. So let's get that cart moving, and then you're able to go. Bill says 438 more subs till 1,000 for Deep Pocket Monster. Yeah, kind of crazy how with just one video we were able to get such good feedback. There's still a lot of people who didn't subscribe even though they saw the video, because it's like, okay, one video, we need to see some content, and content's coming out later today. Thank you. Interesting question from Ken X here. Do you ever seem like you have deja vu? I do. Which is so interesting, right? It makes me think of The Matrix. It makes me go like, have I been here before? All that kind of stuff. My strongest case of deja vu was on my way to Berkeley, UC Berkeley. That's where I went to college. And this is before going to band camp my first year, because I went in early because I was in the band. And band camp happened 2 weeks before school started. So we drove from San Diego up the coast to Berkeley. We were driving along the freeway, and I just had that moment of deja vu. I had never been in this place before. Never, ever been in this place before, but I knew I was there before. The trees, the freeway, the signs, it just felt like I was there in a dream once. And then here I was going off to college. Trippy, man. It's so, so trippy. So, so trippy. Grandma Goody, bless you. Thank you so much. Goodbye, 2020. God help the teachers. Love to all my friends here. Yes, we will definitely be supporting the teachers. Thank you all so much for an amazing 2020. Really, I'll have some final words here once we get to our final question here. We're at 29 questions. Thank you, Ken, for that one. Here's a question from Hey Archer. What's the one nerd prop, aside from the DeLorean, that you'd like to get? Oh, let me think about that one. That's a good question. Chat, you're welcome to answer this as well. So many of you know I'm a big Back to the Future fan. The DeLorean, the car, will be in my possession sometime in the future. Pun intended, right? You guys are donating. Thank you. Not required. Please save your money. But if you'd like to donate, I'm going to happily welcome that and pass it forward to some teachers who are probably going to need some help in 2021. So thank you so much, Lisa Hawkins, with the latest and greatest. So thank you. We got Poke Kanono, Grandma Goody, Joyce B. Thank you for this year. Pat, Happy New Year all. Happy New Year to you as well. And Lisa with Here Is to Intuition. Indeed. Indeed. But let's talk about this. Sandy as well. Happy New Year. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you. I appreciate you. You need the Mandalorian Nerf gun. Paul, I got 2 in order already, so that's coming. But I think that if I could have some sort of nerd prop, I mean, a holy grail version of that would be the puppet from Mandalorian, the Baby Yoda puppet. That would be kind of crazy. I have a lightsaber already. You know what it is? This is gonna be an odd one. This is gonna be an odd one. But there was a movie, Sandy, thank you so much for that. Yo, you guys are insane. This is unexpected. Wow. Kathy, thank you. Thank you for helping us through 2020 and your support for teachers. We appreciate you. Thank you. Teachers making the basics fun. Teachers rock, and Pat too. Thank you so much. You're all amazing. Thank you. There was a movie that I grew up with that I watched over and over and over again. It was called No Retreat, No Surrender. And this was sort of a karate movie. I was a black belt and did taekwondo, and I'd done a lot of tournaments and stuff, and that's everything I was into at the time. But there was a moment where the main character, feeling down in the dumps, kind of starts to get really upset with himself, and he takes it out on this it's not a punching bag. It's, imagine a piece of wood with other pieces of wood coming out of it, and it like turns as you kind of block, but it's wood, and he's like practicing with it, and it's like blocking and chopping and blocking, chopping. And that scene would always make me cry, even as a kid, because in this person's lowest moment, he would train to try and get better. And the interesting thing about that movie is Jean-Claude Van Damme is the bad guy, which is really funny. But anyway, and then Bruce Lee comes into the picture to sort of inspire this person at the time. And so it's just super cool. Wow, John Michael, thank you for all you do for us, Pat Flynn. Looking forward to the new year and new opportunities it will bring. Indeed, 100%. Stephanie Hansen, great 2020 on the income stream and a better 2021 for all. And that is question 30 from Hey Archer, who, again, perfect way to end the year because Hey Archer was here probably on day 1 or at least day 2. I know he hasn't been in here for a while because he also runs a stream almost simultaneously as mine often, but he is the designer of our first piece of merch, which will be on sale today and tomorrow, and then it goes away. And you can find that at patflynn.com/merch. We got Bill with the 99-cent super chat. Thank you. I have that dummy in my garage, Pat Flynn. I'll send you some pics. Yeah, that dummy. I know, like, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, wow. Thank you. Let's finish off here. Let's turn the music off, and let me just send you off. Paul, thank you. High five. Appreciate you, my friend. 2020 has been crazy. 2020 has been difficult. 2020 has been very challenging. But at the same time, 2020 has slowed us all down. It's made us reflect on what we can be grateful for and the potential possibilities and the things that can come out of this. And much like how a phoenix rises out of the ashes, I think that people, humans, will rise up out of this in a very inspirational way. I do believe that we're going to have an absolute roaring 20s. And I think that we've already started it here on the income stream. It is roaring because of you, because of the community, because we're here to support each other, because no matter what, you should know that you're not in this alone. That I'm here for you, but even more importantly, we're all here for each other, right? I'm just the team captain of Team Flynn, right? I have that C on my shoulder, which allows me to sort of be the captain, if you will, as Consult the Blind Guy often says. But the team captain doesn't score the goals. The team captain isn't always the one shooting the shots. The team captain might pass to you. And if you score a goal, we all win. If we lose together. And the community here and everything that the income stream has become has been something that has been life-changing for me. And I'm very grateful for you. And you've helped make 2020 so much better. Thank you. I appreciate you. Happy New Year. Let's have an amazing 2021. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream. All while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
I didn't know that was going to happen. Really, though, you've made 2020 so much better for me. And I'm not stopping. Ryan, thank you for the super chat. Happy New Year's, everybody. I love you. Peace out.
Bruh.